Welcome back to the Bluegrass on this beautiful October day. This is episode 3 in our new series, teaching my son to train protection dogs. This is my boy George, and he's just at that age where he gets a little bit bored with what we do here at the kennel. You know, we do lots of labs, lots of short hairs, just lots of fun, nice dogs that are great for taking to the soccer game and to taking to your local barbecue. Well, George is like, come on, Dad, let's do something exciting. Let's train some Malinois, some Dutch Shepherds, some working bloodline German Shepherds. Some protection dogs, some guard dogs, some police dogs, And I'm like, okay, we'll take a few, but listen, you got to be careful what you wish for. And he's like, I've trained lots of dogs. How much different could it be? Well, for those of you who watched episode 1 and 2, you know that is quite a bit different, and now George knows it's quite a bit different. These dogs, these Malinois, these Dutch Shepherds, guys, they're pretty athletic, and they're pretty impulsive, and they're pretty fast. So all of the good things that you know as a dog trainer, you got to step up your game if you want to, get them moving in the right direction. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to show you the progress that we've made. Back up there a little bit, cameraman. Now you can hear how Goose is bullying these other dogs a little bit, so we're going to work on that. But when Goose first got here, guys, we couldn't have her around any dogs. We couldn't have her around any people because she tried to chase and bite everybody. You buy a dog, it chases and bites stuff. Well, don't be surprised when it chases and bites things. And that's what happened with Goose. Everybody that came out here, she's arr, arr, arr. Every dog, she'd chase it and bite it. And one of the reasons most people in the kenneling business don't like fooling with like these Malinois and Dutch Shepherds is they put holes in all the other dogs, okay? Even when they don't mean to, which they do mean to a lot, so don't let anybody that raises you lie to you. They mean to put holes in stuff a lot, but they're just so dang fast and so intent on biting stuff that they're just, even when they're playing, they play rough. Oh, No Name says, let's get back to talking about labs, Dad. Okay, we're gonna walk around. Georgie, you go over there a little ways. I'll go over here. And we're gonna show you the progress we've made with Goose. Goose, come. This is pretty amazing from my perspective. George, go up here so we can get you in the camera too. So out here in this field, guys, we have some short hairs. We have a wire-haired pointing Griffon. We have Goose, the Malinois, and we've got 3 or 4, maybe 5 black labs running around here somewhere, okay? So if you'll notice, how Goose plays with these other dogs, Goose, come on. She kind of just runs into them and bites them and just knocks them down. So what we have to do is we have to kind of keep her busy and focused on us just a little bit. So, Goose, come on. So that she doesn't think so much about chasing the other dogs. Come on, Goose, you can do it. Very nice. And so this is pretty good. If I would have tried this the first week or second week that Goose was here, at least 3 out of these 9 dogs would have ended up with holes in them. And now, Goose, come on. Now they're not going to end up with holes in them. They're just going to end up a little sore. So that's big progress, I think, okay? Now, if you remember from from episode 1 and 2, George ended up a little sore too, and maybe with just some small holes in him. And so his mom, she was pretty mad at me. But listen, all in all, I feel like we've made some good progress here. Now, Lexi, the Dutch Shepherd, she's a little older, and so if we brought her out here, yeah, it wouldn't look so nice. But as far as Goose goes, look at Goose sitting over there with Georgie. I mean, that's pretty nice. Now, would we come out here? Go ahead, you can go up there, cameraman, and watch. Georgie, call Goose to you. Now, could we just, let Goose hang out here in this yard with all these other dogs? No. We're not going to leave her out here unsupervised. Swing around this way here, cameraman, so we can go back up to the small challenges. Okay, now notice George tries to give Goose a lot of treats, kind of keep her close to him so he can keep an eye on her, because these dogs are fast. They get away from you real quick. All right, Georgie, come on back down here. Let's go to the small challenges course, but first, let's kind of show them how fast Goose is. Wait right there for a second, and cameraman, you come here and get behind me. And we're going to kind of call Goose a couple of times so that the people can kind of see how fast she is. All right, so now Goose starts with me, and I think a big problem that a lot of you guys have, because the comments kind of came up, they popped up a lot in the other videos, was to talk about how these dogs were like a snake, or how they were real quick, or how they were like just super fast in general, and they are. Let me see if we can show you. Call her, Georgie. Goose, come on, Goose, come on. You're a good dog. They just cover ground very quickly and very easily. And, you know, we've had Goose out here for a few minutes playing. Hey, and her recall is fast now. It's going to be fast later, even when she's tired. Goose, come on. Goose. Good girl. And you see these other dogs. Can you see these other dogs, cameraman? How they've kind of all given up. The short hairs are playing a little bit. But this is what you really like out of these Malinois right here. Goose, come on. Is that like they can stay focused under high levels of distraction, and they can move very quickly and with a lot of athleticism. Go ahead, one more time, Georgie. But the problem with that is, like, say if George and I weren't kind of keeping Goose busy, like following us around and running between us and playing tug with us and stuff, then what would happen is she would fixate on one of those other dogs instead. Okay, so one of the key ways to keep, like, say, your Malinois from chasing other dogs is to make yourself more interesting than the other dogs, and that's really tough. Basically, it can't be done without a real good like plan for early socialization. Now, if you're wondering what that is, guys, that's a tractor. Show them the tractor, Amy. That's my neighbor going out to, like, do a little little work on his garden for next year. Now watch Goose. Let's see if she goes over there. Just last week, if my neighbor came out and he was anywhere over here on his property, Goose would run at the fence line, rah, 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 rah. She would be fixated, and we would try to call her back, and she would just blow us off. Okay, this week she's doing really good. I'm gonna see if I can call her. Very nice. And you see right there, I don't back that up a little bit if you want to, and watch. Her head kind of went to the side because she thought about going over there to my neighbor. Goose. But look at this. Look at this dog's energy level. Come on, Goose. Come on. This is, I'm gonna go back to Georgie. Goose. But look at this dog's energy level compared to all these other guys. You know, ain't that crazy? They've all done the same stuff, and you guys are used to watching my channel and watching these short hairs run around like all day. They're the king of endurance dogs, you would think, but like Goose blows them out of water in terms of like that, just that little bit of extra energy reserve. So now we'll walk up here to the small challenges course, and we'll see how Goose's obedience has improved. And like I said, if you go back to the first two videos, you'll remember George was having a hard time like getting Goose to work on her vocabulary and her physical skills because she was always wanting to forage, always wanting to go ahead, always wanting to get done with the course, always wanting to jump up and grab his retrieving items. And that was tough, but George put in a lot of work, and now he's got her doing pretty good obedience, even in the face of this kind of high level distraction like all these other dogs running around. So y'all should give George a hand in the comment section, because guys, trust me, it was miles and miles and miles of walking put into this project for Georgie. Okay, George, she should be nice and tired now, so we ought to be able to get a good trip around the course. Go ahead and have her hop up on your exam table and put your leash on her. Okay guys, now here's what I want you to notice about this episode is that George is going to be able to walk this dog, and she's going to be relatively calm and compliant, okay, even though there's a lot of distraction out here. And that's, listen, I'm telling you, you really have to give George a big hand in the comment section, because he has spent so much time on this. Okay, George, now what we're going to do is we're going to do, like, say maybe 3 treats throughout the whole course, okay, just at your pause points. All right, so you remember in episode 2, to combat the foraging and impulsiveness that we were seeing out of Goose, we started kind of giving her treats before each obstacle. And you know, a real common problem that you run into with these pattern cognizant athletic dogs is that once they figure out that getting over or through a series of obstacles leads to reward, then they kind of rush through those obstacles. And it doesn't have to be an obstacle like what you're seeing here on the small challenges course. It also can be an obedience exercise, like you're trying to work on obedience with them, and when you're working on obedience with them, they're always foraging because they're trying to get to the end point, you know, and that's why we don't do tug work with them in our obedience. Okay, I think that it's counterproductive, and it leads to a lot of conflict between the handler and dog. We use nutrition style. We just come out here and walk them until they get good at it, and then we go play, you know. But so you'll notice George is doing really great, and he's going to get through this whole course, I believe, even with, and I want you guys to understand how hard this is, even with all these other dogs around, maybe 3 or 4 treats, you know. I'm not really keeping track. I'm just kind of watching George's posture. You'll notice also that George's posture is a lot more relaxed this week. His hand placement on the leash is awesome. And remember what I always tell you about that leash transfers the energy from the handler to the dog. What you guys are going to notice is that George's confidence is really high this week, and his confidence being high leads to a nice calm demeanor from the handler, and then that nice calm demeanor from the handler goes right down the leash and into the dog. Go ahead and put her up on your exam table and leave her there for a nice stay, Georgie. Put your leash down. Good. Stay. There you go. Take a look at her, cameraman. Now guys, I mean, that is just about perfect. I could not have done this any better myself. So I'm so proud of George, you just can't even believe it. Okay, now we will get Lexi out, and then we'll do some tugging and introduction to bite work. All right, George went and got Lexi, and we're going to do a little thing here. I'm going to let you guys in on an industry secret that most people don't know about. When you have a dog, it's got a bad attitude. The best thing for that bad attitude is what we call Labrador Retriever therapy, okay? So if you'll notice, we have 4 Labrador Retrievers out here. And when I say Labrador Retrievers, of course, you guys know I mean black Labrador Retrievers, because all dogs want to be labs, but all labs want to be black. And this, guys, is how we're going to get Lexi to like other dogs. Is we're going to put her around these awesome black labs, because it's impossible not to like them. So Georgie, just kind of move around, go up there a little ways. I'll back up this way, and we'll call her between us. So George is going to go up there and give Lexi something to do. Come back here behind me a little bit, cameraman. And then I'll call Lexi. Lexi, come on. Good girl, Lexi, come on. And hopefully, like, she'll run in between these black labs and be nice to them, or at least indifferent, okay? And then I'll give her a treat. Now, Lexi's already kind of caught on to this game, and you guys, like I was telling you before, this is how these dogs do you. All of these Malinois and Dutch Shepherds and Belgian Shepherds and working bloodline German Shepherds, like, you show them something, and then they just want to rush right to the end. So me and George trying to work on this little exercise where we, like, teach her to kind of ignore the other dogs, and she's like, okay, boss, here, I'll just run a couple of times and now I'm done, right? Okay, no. Because see, she knows what we're fixing to do next, which is we're going to do some tugging, we're going to do some fetching, and she wants to jump right to that. But we're going to make her do, we're going to make her be nice to these other dogs, or at least indifferent, and we're going to do some vocabulary work and physical skills first. Lexi, come! Good dog, very nice. So she comes over here, and what I'm doing basically is I'm not just, you know, kind of paying her to come to me. Like, I'm paying her, like, for her indifference towards the other dogs. Lexi, come. And hey, I'll just be honest with you guys. You know how I'm always going on and on about, like, when you're giving dogs treats, it's not really, the treat's not really that big a deal. What's going on there is that the treat is a physical manifestation of your pleasure. Like, if I wish you could, like, you know, when you give dogs a treat, there's like a difference. Watch me give this dog a treat. Like the way they take the treat, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a treat. I love it. It's so good. When I give Lexi a treat, she, like, eats it, like, grudgingly. Like, okay, fine, here, I'll take your treat. Are we ever gonna get done with this boring stuff? Lexi, come. So basically what's happening here is Lexi is saying, all right, I'll do this. And she's even going to go back there to George. And watch how she kind of probably goes back there and posts up to George on his heeling side. Okay, because we've been working on fetching only from that spot. And guys, again, it's not that we're such fantastic trainers. It's that these dogs, they just learn patterns very quickly. So basically, if you can get them to where they have a little bit of impulse control and a little bit of attention, all you got to do is show them things enough times, and they're really good at it. Lexi, come. Very nice. All right, so this will be the last time. We'll head up towards the Exercise with Small Challenges course. Let Georgie work on his vocabulary. Just kind of wanted to show you that we are making some progress with Lexi in relation to being around other dogs. Now, right now, the only dogs she can be around is these awesome black Labrador Retrievers, because they're the best, okay? But we're going to add in some more dogs this week, and hopefully by, I don't know, the 20th or 30th video in this series, she'll be relatively tolerant of all kinds of dogs. Okay, Georgie, we're going to do the same thing we did with Goose. Go ahead and get your dog up there on the exam table. Put her leash on her. Okay, now again, sticking with a common theme, I want you guys to notice how much more relaxed George's posture is this week, and how much more confident he is in his vocalization. And you see that that's going right down that leash and into that dog. Okay, so go ahead, Georgie, you can take off walking. All right, now I'm going to make this exercise a little bit harder. I'm gonna come over here and call these dogs, puppies, puppies. And I'm going to like throw some food on the ground here, okay? And I'm gonna put these dogs in Lexi's path. Now, last week, if these dogs were anywhere around Lexi, especially if it like related to these retrieving items, okay, or George giving any of the other dogs treats, then she would straight up put a whooping on them, wouldn't she, Georgie? You know, that's why we could only do this with these super strong, super athletic black labs. Wait right there for a second, George, you're going too fast. All right, now George is young and he starts to give him some compliments. He's just like the dog. He wants to, you know, start going faster and show off. But his mom, who is also the cameraman, can't move that fast. So we had to slow him down a little bit. Okay, just wait right there. Okay, so I'm gonna throw just some treats down here. And what we're doing with this part of the exercise, guys, is Lexi knows that there are scarce resources being brought into play, okay? So here's some food. She knows the dogs are getting food. I might give the dog some attention, okay? And she knows that George and I are both wearing retrieving items, okay? So, like, she doesn't like that. What she would have thought about doing last week is to make sure to drive these dogs away from these scarce resources. But what she's thinking about this week is that this is kind of a setup situation where if she is accepting of these dogs being around here and getting the treats and getting the attention and getting to be in her path, and she doesn't get upset, that really good things are going to happen to her. And she's right, because all she's got to do is make it through this vocab work one time, and then we're going to do some retrieving and some tug work. Okay, go ahead, Georgie. Very nice. And that's really the key with all this stuff, guys. Like, you know, these working dogs like this, if you just come out here and try to boss them into being nice or boss them into being calm, all you're doing is shooting hectic energy down that leash, and they're never going to be really all that calm. Wait, you got to kind of show them how it's in their best interest. So watch. And see, so she's being cool with that. So I say, hey, I appreciate it, you know. See, there's plenty to go around. We're trying to, you know, we're trying to make sure that everybody like feels like being calm, attentive, and polite leads to their own benefit, right? Every exchange here at my kennel, we try to make it a mutually beneficial exchange. Even if we have to fuss at them, we try to show them that the fussing at them is really in their best interest, you know. So if Lexi has to watch these other dogs get something, that doesn't mean she's not going to get some attention, okay? She is, right? And then over the course of time, if you could just ever get past that point to where that natural tendency to be like Dick Cheney is making her, you know, go to war all the time, then they're pretty chill and they start realizing, oh, wait a minute, if the other dogs are getting stuff, I'm going to get stuff too. And you're like, yeah, of course. You know, go ahead, Georgie. Very nice. Okay, now we'll put her up on the exam table and I'll show you where we had a lot of trouble. I mean a lot of trouble this week. Go ahead, put her up on the table, Georgie. Face her towards the gate and keep a hold of her leash. So, you know, when we first start trying to get Lexi to be like relatively nice to the other dogs, like as long as she could move, she was pretty cool about it. But put her on the leash where her, you know, where her ability to move was restricted, and she got less cool about it. Now, what makes this so hard, see, is the dog is approaching her from her 6 o'clock position here, and from her flank, and she doesn't like them being behind her. Okay, so I've kind of positioned myself in case she was to snap, I can step in, and I had George maintain control of the leash because like her head can't come back here, George will just take a step that way if she goes to snapping at this puppy. But this right here is a big step for Lexi because this dog being back here behind her like that, she didn't like it. She especially didn't like it like if they would go to smell her, or Lord forbid, they would try to like hump her. It was a beat down, wasn't it, Georgie? It was a beat down, you know. So when you have these kind of dogs, guys, you have to know you can't just run over to the dog park with them, okay? Because they're not going to be chill, right? You can be over to the dog park, they can be playing or whatever. A dog comes up on their flank, right, or a dog comes up to mount them, they'll turn around real quick and snap, and they're just so quick and their teeth are so sharp, they almost always draw blood, and that's always a big thing at the dog park. So, you know, I don't know about these dogs being dog park dogs. All right, Georgie, that's really good. We'll put up these labs, and then we'll do some retrieving. Okay, now we're going to work on a calm, attentive hold as it relates to a retrieving item. Now, one of the things I want you to notice is while this dog, and you see it in Goose too, while I've just got her sitting here, she can't just sit still. She's looking this way and looking that way. If a bird goes by or a fly goes by, she wants to chase it and bite it. And you might be like, well, Stonnie, why do they want to chase and bite things? Well, because people breed them to want to chase and bite things. It always amazes me. People will email me with these dogs, and they're like, Stonnie, the dog is like chasing the vacuum cleaner, it's chasing the bicycle, it's brought home the neighbor's cat yesterday, whatever it is. but I say, go look at your YouTube viewing history, and there's literally 1,000 liked videos in your YouTube viewing history of this type of dog chasing and biting things. So when you get them home, guess what they're going to do? They're going to want to chase and bite things. If you had a Malinois that didn't want to chase and bite things, then you'd email me and you'd say, hey Stonnie, why doesn't my Malinois chase and bite things, right? So it's like people, like, they're just not sure. And what it really boils down to is people want them to like be like robots, where you just turn on the chasing and biting and you turn off the chasing and biting. And as you can see by how she's eyeballing all this stuff, that turning on and off is not as easy as what one might have you believe, okay? So we have to start small. Everything in dog training is based on like building progressions. And so like if George wants to learn how to take a dog like this and teach her how to chase a person, right, and be controllable as it relates to chasing evildoers and biting evildoers, okay, got to understand that the motivation to chase and bite an evildoer, it's about yay high, okay? So the motivation to chase and bite a retrieving item for these types of dogs, it's about yay high. If you can't control the dog over a retrieving item, you for sure can't control the dog over an evildoer. And you guys can kind of watch her. You see, like in the first part of when I started talking, she's looking at the birds, and then she lays down, then she'll sit up, and she just can't hardly get settled. What she's exactly like is a real athletic, high-energy kid sitting in school, and he's listening to the teacher drone on and on and on. So he starts biting his nails, starts eating his, like the end of his tool, of his pencil, starts doodling on the desk, starts making airplanes and, or footballs and flicking them across the schoolroom. Like that's what she just can't believe how boring this is, right? And it kind of looks like she's tired. No, she's not tired at all. She is bored out of her gourd. Because watch this. As soon as this retrieving item comes into play, then, okay. Now she's going to all of a sudden have a bunch of energy, and she's going to snap to attention. So like this brings a good point that's not exactly a dog training point. All those people in the world that they call ADHD or whatever, those people aren't ADHD. They just get tired of listening to boring teachers drone on and on and on. Because what you'll notice with this dog is whenever George or I are doing something that she finds interesting, she's 100% involved. And then like if we're just asking her to like be good while we talk, then like all of a sudden she's tired or she's distracted, okay? So there's nothing wrong with the dog, and there's nothing wrong with people that aren't good at sitting in schools and listening to boring teachers every day, okay? So quit with your labeling and your judging, Don't be so quick to judge people because maybe they ain't good at what you're good at, and don't be so quick to judge a dog because the methodology that you've been taught as a dog trainer doesn't work well with that type of dog. You need to learn how to be a little bit more interesting dog trainer, okay? Now, so she knows we're going to play fetch in a little while, and we're going to introduce the tug. So she's going to have to sit up here on this table and make some progress if she wants to do that. So I'm not telling her that she can just be, impetuous and not do her homework. She's got to do her homework, and I'm going to help her. Here, sit down, Dirt. But like, I understand where she's coming from. So I'm not labeling her and I'm not mad at her. So if you go back to episode 1 and 2, whenever George would bring his retrieving item into play, the dog was very rude. She would jump up and snip and snap and bite and carry on, and you had to watch your fingers. She would try to steal his retrieving item out of his pouch. And so we started him off with a nice calm hold on a count of 5, okay? And then last week I think he got up, what'd you get up to, Georgie, 10? 10. Okay, so we're going to go for 12 today. And it's going to kind of look something like this. I put a small slip lead on the dog, put the slip lead high at the base of her neck, or at the base of her skull, at the top of her neck, so that I can use a little bit of tension to keep her from jumping off the table, and so I can stroke her calmly. And I'm going to ask George to present his retrieving item in a way that doesn't cause the dog to reach off the table, and then ask her to hold it while he counts to 12. It'll look hopefully like this. Take it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good girl. Very nice. Okay, Georgie, come over here and try it. Now, I don't know what's going to happen here. It could look exactly like it looks when I do it, or it could look something like it looks when I do it. But Georgie's been putting in a lot of work, so I've got high hopes. All right, Georgie, present your retrieving item. 2, 3, 4. Now, do not pat over your lead, okay? Like, there you go. 6. See how you're patting the lead? Okay, don't. Pat under your lead. Now, I'm going to show you guys why in a minute. 9, 10. Okay, so George didn't get to 12. And part of that has to do with me, like, interrupting him. And part of it has to do with how he's using his lead here. Okay, so this lead is to keep her from, you know, darting off. So he can kind of put it here and control her. Then if he wants to pet her, he needs to draw attention, like, to this uninterrupted part of her flow of her neck here. And by coming up here, right here where this lead is at the base of her skull, like he keeps reminding her that that lead is on her, and that kind of bothers him. It kind of weirds him out. Okay, so look, Georgie, you know, if you have to put a little tension in the lead to keep her from going away, that's okay. But then the hand comes down here. 3, 4, 5. She goes to move. Wait. 6, 7. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Try that again. Guys, this is real subtle stuff here. And you can't get frustrated. No. Let me show you. Looky here. This is where it's a big problem. Right here, George did this on the first video. You notice this is not how my hand is. Now, I literally just sat here and showed George how to do this again, and he still did this. This is something that really frustrates you in your training, because your instructor will show you to do something, and then you think you're doing it like they showed you, but you're not, okay? That you can't pet her without drawing attention to the leash if your hand's in there like that. Look, the thumb goes in here, okay? And then here's the leash. So your petting zone is the leash and down, okay? Pressure, petting, pressure, petting, okay? Stay. Lots of little bitty things like this, guys. Like you'll hear like people talk. Go ahead, Georgie. You'll hear people talk about like music is in between the notes. You see now, tension in your leash. See how you let her. Okay, so you presented it. Take it away from her. See, you presented it well, and she was mouthing on it, and you went to stroking her. What should you have done once she started mouthing on it? Tension. Okay, guys. Music is in between the notes. Okay, dog training is what's in between the techniques. All right, present again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. All right. Now, so you should have, theoretically, if possible, you should have seen that thing darting around and thought to yourself, oh, okay, dog's like, she's been up there getting after those flies, right? Okay. Okay. Try it again. Nope, take it away, take it away. Get her to sit. Very nice. Now, okay, so you got rattled a little bit. You've had a couple of bad repetitions, and now you're starting to get rattled, and that presentation wasn't on point, okay? I want you to confidently present that so she grabs the middle of it, and then go with leash tension. Nope, take it away. You see, why is she having to get up when you go to hand it to her? Because you're handing it too far away. There, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Slow that petting down. 10. Conway Twitty, man with the slow hand. 11, 12. Okay, now, right as she went to mouthing, then you should have come in with a teeny bit of leash pressure. Okay, let's try to get to 12 one time. Leash pressure. Oh, do it again. All right, present. 1, 2, 3. Now here comes the tractor. It's going to make it hard on Georgie. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And right at the end, she starts spitting it out. Okay? All right, give her a break, Georgie. Go over there and just let her run around for a second and reset yourself on the table. Just run a big figure 8 with her and bring her back on the table. Sometimes, guys, you just got to call a little timeout, okay? And when you call that timeout and you start again, it's enough to give you give the dog a new look. Okay, well that exercise session ended up having to last a little bit longer than we wanted. Georgie, go ahead and put her back on the table. Not only did my neighbor come by with a tractor, but also a 4-wheeler and a pickup truck. That's just the price you pay for living in the country. Okay, Georgie, we got to get a 12 count before we can move on. Go ahead and come up to the edge of the table a little bit if you can. Like just step up towards here a little bit. That way they can see you a little better. All right, now present your retrieving item. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Take your retrieving item. That's very good, especially considering that there's a bunch of people banging around over there in the building. So now we'll do a little retrieving. Come on, cameraman, let's go down here. All righty, Georgie. Now, one of the things I want you guys to notice is that Lexi is doing a lot better this week on not jumping up and trying to steal George's retrieving items. All right, let me see that dummy, Georgie. All right, we'll go down here and turn around and face your mom. Okay, so what we want to see here is we're not going to use a long line because I feel like Lexi's made quite a bit of progress. I'm going to toss the retrieving item and then she's going to go get it, and I hope that she'll bring it back to me and hand it to me and then like move somewhere over here in this general direction of my left side. Dun, 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 and then I'll hand it over to Georgie. Okay, this is about where we started last week, cameraman. Okay, so I'm gonna take my short lead and take a back step and get Lexi over here in what we call the surface heel position. I'm gonna hold my leash a little bit. I'm gonna toss my retrieving item and then I'm gonna throw it, and hopefully she'll go get it. And I'm gonna kind of back up here and call her to me. And the backwards motion a lot of times will like speed them up and they'll like forget to drop it. Because that's really what happens a lot of times with these dogs is people inadvertently teach them to drop the retrieving item when they're young, and that's really hard to get over. Lexi, so watch. Lexi, good girl, I'm gonna back up. Very nice. And then I'd like for her to come into this general area. Okay, and that's not perfect, okay? You know, what would perfect be? She would be perfectly lined up with me, but it's a lot better than last week, okay? And that's all we need, guys, is we need a little bit, a teeny tiny bit of progress each week. And if you focus on that, we call it the tortoise approach. If you focus on the tortoise approach, just slow and steady wins the race. You're gonna be happy in the long run, I promise you. Okay, Georgie, you come over here. All right, we're not going to do very many retrieves today because we're going to try to introduce some tug work, and hopefully what we try to do on the tug work is balance it, make her a little bit tired, and let's back up here, cameraman, make her a little bit tired so that she's controllable with the tug, but not so tired that she loses her desire to chase the tug. Okay, Georgie, go ahead. Now, wait just a second. You want slack in that little lead before you let her go. She has to tie the access to the retrieving item into being calm, attentive, and polite. Okay, send her. Lexi. Now, back up. Lexi. Oh, come here, babies. Oh. Oh. Very nice. You see, hey, good. That's almost perfect. Yeah, get her to sit there, Georgie. Good. Go up there real close to him, cameraman, so you can see. Kind of spin around there where you see where she is in relation to Georgie. See, guys, that's not perfect, but I mean, that's pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. Let's get one more good rep like that. Hey, you know, sometimes, guys, honestly, I would stop on a good rep like that. That's the best rep I think George has ever gotten. He got a little bit handsy right as she got close to him, but that was all in all a very solid rep. Back up just a little bit more, cameraman. So we're gonna have George make a little bit longer throw here, and this is probably gonna be our last repetition, because especially if she gets over there close to that position. Go ahead, Georgie.
Good girl, Lexi.
Very nice. Perfect. Dang, that's perfect. Very nice. That's, I mean, that right there. Go ahead and spin around him there, cameraman. Guys, that's not perfect. Go the other way. There you go. That's what I want to see right there. That is really good, George. I mean, that's great progress. Fantastic. Okay, come on back out here to the front so they can see, cameraman. And then kind of go over there to George's right side a little bit and go up there and look at that leash. I want y'all to see that George is able to hold his retrieving item, and look at that little bit of slack in that lead. That, guys, is a tremendous amount of progress. That's a big step forward towards George being able to control that dog when he starts to doing bite work with her. Okay, if you guys remember from episode 2, we introduced the tether and stake system, okay? And and dog training, always stick with what works, right? I probably should use the tether and stake system for Georgie today, but since he's made such good progress this week, like, I don't want to embarrass him and you know, make him feel like he can't do it like the old man. So I'm going to let him try to do it without the tether. So basically what we're going to try to do is get this dog to jump up here and bite this little sleeve right here. Now you can put this kind of sleeve on your arm, you can hold it by this little handle, you can hold it here. All right, but what we're trying to do, guys, as we introduce the concept of chasing and biting people, is to make the dog understand that it's supposed to take it, open its mouth up really wide and grab onto stuff really deep and hold it really steady. Can you see that, cameraman? We want to really grip it and hold it. We don't want this. Okay, we don't want this. We don't want grabbing with their front teeth too much. We'll take pretty much anything today, but like jump up there and grab it real hard. Now, when I was a young kid, like all we did is put collars on dogs, and nowadays everybody uses harnesses and all these systems to, you know, kind of like not jam up the dog's neck and back so much. And I look at some of the stuff I did personally when I was young and some of the stuff we did with dogs, and yeah, probably we could do it a little easier. So one of the things I want you to really focus on when you first start introducing this tug work, if you have a dog that's really likes it, really into it, you know, is you'll get them excited and you'll hold it. And sometimes like you're a little bit nervous, and so you hold it real stiff. Well, then when the dog, you know, when the dog like grabs it, there's no hardly give to it. And so all that, you know, all that pressure gets transferred kind of down the dog's spine. So there's a little technique to this. You want to kind of tease the dog, you want to present it, okay? And then as the dog comes to you, you want to absorb, pivot, squat, and catch, okay? So watch, the dog's coming to me. I'm going to absorb, watch, well, as it's coming to me, I'm going to bring to my chest, out to the side, and then all that weight of the dog is going to get carried in a semicircle, and I'm going to end up in a squatting position. Okay, that minimizes the pressure on the dog's neck, and it minimizes the pressure on Uncle Stonnie's back. Okay, so here, as the dog's coming, you're going in, over, pivot, squat. Okay, now I'm going to try to do that. Let me see. I'll do it from this direction. Yeah, come here, Lexi. What I'll do, you know what I'll do? I'll put Lexi on a sit, and I'll kind of show you. Let me see. Back up there, cameraman. You're going to be able to have to see like where Lexi is and a few feet behind me. Okay, so there's Lexi. It should look kind of something like this. Get her down here, and just like when we're playing fetch, I'm going to like kind of release her and let her understand. Lexi. Boom. And then I'm going to pivot and catch her, and I'm going to tug with her and fight with her, you know. And then when she fights pretty good, she's got a good grip on it, I'm going to let her have it, and I'm going to act disinterested. And so the theory there is I make her like try to grab it and hold it and fight for it, okay? And each week I try to make her fight for it a little bit harder, okay? But then like I act disinterested in it, because the fight is what drives the dog. They want to tug and play with it. So I act disinterested, and I want her to bring it back to me. Come on, Lexi. Very nice. And so, wait. So again, this gets back to that, you know, that hold exercise that we were doing earlier. I want her to really understand that I'm trying to help her do something. I'm trying to work like in a mutually beneficial fashion here. Yes, I want her to help me be impressive when my friends come over and I sick my dog on them. But I want her to get her, you know, rocks off too. I want her to like it, okay? You got to make sure your dog likes it if you want them to do a good job. Okay, now see how like my vocal inflection, my posture is real calm. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sign, stay. I'm gonna back away. vocal inflection, posture, movement pattern will change, which will signal to the dog that she can come over here and get a retrieving item. I'm going to try to absorb that shock so it doesn't go into her neck or into my back. I'm going to pivot, fight with her for a second, then let her have it, and then go dead. So she's here. Okay, boom. Very nice. And I can start yelling at them. Very nice. I can act like I'm hitting them. Oh, now see, right there. 2 years old. And she hasn't had any foundation bite training with them. So she thought we were playing a fun game. Then if I act like I hit her, she jumps back. Like, wait a minute, Stonnie. Or like, are you mad at me? You know? And so this game, guys, like you have to play in such a way that the dog knows that you're not mad at them, okay? Because I see this all the time when people have these kind of dogs. They're like wanting to do like protection work with them with the sleeves and stuff themselves. But you got to remember, guys, that's a non-realistic situation. This is kind of like putting on some boxing gloves and sparring with your friends. You're not really fighting. And so if somebody gets mad, most of the time the person that's not mad will be like, hey, dude, why are we having problems, okay? So right there, like I rushed that a little bit and I started bringing my hand in and she tells me, she goes, oh, Stonnie, well, I don't want to fight. I thought we were just playing a game. And at this stage of protection training, we are just playing a game. There's nothing realistic about this situation in terms of me being an evildoer. I mean, I'm the person that cleans up after her, feeds her, takes her four-wheeler riding, you know? So that let me know right there she's not ready for that level of play. She said her safe word, you know? Okay, so stay there. Okay, can you see, cameraman? So I'm gonna go, okay, boom. Oh my gosh. Now I go back, I can do the vocalization. Oh, you're a bad dog, you better let go. Oh my gosh, there, oh. And after she's fought for a little while, watch, then I'm gonna kind of get dead and I'm gonna let her have it. And then I'm act disinterested in it. And when I'm ready for it, I'm gonna ask her, come on, Lexi, hand it to me. Very nice. Now, an alternative way to do it, like we're working on the hold, is you can go ahead and like introduce the concept of like get calm and let go of it, and we'll play the game in a continuous cycle, okay? I've seen it done both ways. So I have the dog here. And this all right here, guys, comes out of sit. Just that little simple retrieving exercise we're doing. Now you'll notice too, I'll say sit and she lays down. I don't care. You know, we've been doing this for a little while today, so I'm not too worried about her posture. So she's there. Watch. I'm gonna let her have it. Boom. Oh, catch, pivot, absorb. I'm fighting with her. Now I can get dead here. Watch. I can get dead. Out. Okay. Stay. Back up. So this is just a continuation of that cycle. Like we're always trying to tie the idea of retrieving into everything, so we do it the other way. And then I'm gonna present by changing my vocalization, posture, and movement pattern. Boom, oh, absorb, fighting every week, fight a little more, good, very nice. And then I'm gonna get calm, out. But I want her to get, come here, so they can see you. Come here now, sit. Try to get over here where so you can see. I want her to get kind of calm. Sit. And so stay. Now we'll let Georgie do it. You can do it either way, Georgie. You can have her like let go and then hand it to you, so it really reinforces the idea that she has to, you know, be a cooperative partner. Okay. Now what'd you do there? What happened there? Yep. Okay, so let's do this a little different so they're going to be able to see. George, you're going to have to kind of angle this way. Come over here towards me a little bit. Okay, cameraman, you come over this way. I don't want to try to catch. Guys, this is the hardest thing when you're learning to do. No. When you're learning to do this, is like first you'll be a little bit nervous and you just hold this out here like this. And then you'll get to where you do this, but then that's not good because now your back's taking it. The key is, you see that pivot? Watch, pivot, catch, squat. And I ain't saying that's the only way to do it. I'm telling you that's the way I like to do it. I'm a small person and I have to minimize this, the amount of knocking into me that the dogs do. Wait, you're not gonna be able to catch that, cameraman. You're gonna have, Georgie, come over this way a little bit. You're gonna have to, come here. You got to give yourself a lot of space behind Georgie to turn. Okay. All right, Georgie, when you're ready. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Now fight. Now use your mean voice. Now spin your dog around so we can see her. All we're seeing is your bottom right now. There you go. Fight with her. You need to get back. You need to get on that squat rack, son. What are you doing? Okay. Now when you're ready. Okay, you're going to do it that way? All right. So that wasn't bad. Okay. Keep in mind where the camera is so we can see what you're doing. Stay. Take her up there a little ways. Make her stay. All right, come back this way, camera. What we're trying to catch is like George's pivot motion. Okay. All right, you ready, Georgie? Nice, that's perfect. Now fight with her. You have to make it exciting, son. If you don't make it exciting, she's not going to want to play. Good, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Now let her win, let her have it. Now run over there to that orange pile of stuff there. Good, and then run back to me and ask her to bring it to you. Really trying to stress the cooperative nature of this game, because when you're doing this tug work, all right, turn around and face the camera. When you're doing this tug work with the dog, all you're really working on is the mechanics of chasing and biting. Okay, you're trying to make your dog able to target well, and you're trying to develop her grip strength and her explosiveness off the line. Okay, let's get one more rep in, and then we'll go get Goose and show them the difference, just like in bloodlines. Okay, Georgie. There you go. Nice. Now fight her back over there towards the orange. Very nice. Very nice. Sell it, son. Sell it. There you go. Hey, hey. Change your voice. Change your vocal inflection. There you go. Good. Good. Very nice. Very nice. This time make her out. Get dead. No, see right there? Like when I said get dead and you're trying to tell her to get out, and then like as she almost out, she pulled it and you made it alive again, she didn't want to let go. If you're going to use that technique, you got to get dead and you got to stay dead. Okay, have her stay. We'll do it one more time. And you really don't need to be grabbing her leash, dude. I should have taken her leash off. Like you have something she wants. She likes playing this game. You're not trying to force her into a position so much as you're trying to show her how getting in that position leads to doing what she wants to do, which is how she's going to end up getting in the service heel position for the retrieving exercises. Okay. Pivot. Oh, nice. Perfect. Fight with her. Good. Big fight. Big fight. Holler a little bit. Holler a little bit. Very nice. Okay. Now stand up and get dead. And out. Totally dead. Turn her towards your mom. Now out. Now you hear that nervousness, and watch her mouth. She's like, I want to make it alive again. And what you're telling her is the only way this is going to get live again is if you cooperate. And how does she cooperate? She cooperates by being calm, attentive, and polite when the situation demands. All right, that's perfect. Now we'll get Goose. So George has made big progress with Lexi, and he's made big progress with Goose this week. And we're fixing to do a retrieving exercise. Goose is still pretty wacky about the retrieving. But what I want to show you before then, a big question that pops up in dog training is like the nurture versus nature argument, right? And anybody who's been in dog business for very long will tell you that the nature part is way more important than the nurture. Like as a dog trainer, you kind of go through these distinct phases. At first, you don't know anything, and then after a few years, you know everything, and you want to tell everybody what you know and how they ought to be doing things. And then a few years after that, you get back to that. I'm not sure what I know anymore. Okay, but I can tell you one thing for sure is that there's no beating genetics. Genetics is destiny, right? Breeders breed good dogs or they don't breed good dogs for a given task. Georgie, bring me that tug from over there. Now, y'all saw Lexi, and Lexi has a lot of desire to do these types of activities. She's fast, she's athletic, she likes to chase and bite, all that good stuff that people like to talk about. She's what people refer to as drivey, okay? Goose is kind of on a different level. We have gotten this tug out twice for Goose, exactly twice. The first time that we got it out, like basically we just had to wait for her to get tired of having it because it's like she freaked out. So, I mean, literally just the first time I kind of shook it in front of her, she just jumped up and she got it and she started shaking her head and going crazy. So we're going to kind of show you that right now, just to kind of give you like, just a little baseline understanding in the difference between drivey and real drivey. Okay, here, Georgie, take this back. I'm going to put this dog on the tether for a minute. All right, so since George is going to be working Goose here, I'm going to put her back on this tether system. Now remember how we do this? We have a stake and another stake, and what this does is it just gives you a way to keep the dog in a certain range of you, because sometimes when you're doing retrieving or you're doing tugging, you got to remember the dog views the tug as like a scarce resource. So they get their scarce resource, they want to go off and keep it in a safe spot. Or they want to make a game out of it, so they get it and then they want you to chase them around. So we'll tie them up with this long line. But a long line by itself, see, it's just me versus the dog. And so, I'm still pretty strong for old man. I can control these young dogs. But where George is kind of young, we got him another stake in the ground where this way, if the dog, turn around there, dog, turn around there. If the dog starts giving him a hard time, let me get her feet out of that line. Oh, come here. If the dog starts giving him a hard time, like, look, he can back away from her. Because you'll remember, like, the last week, well, in the first episode, George got bit on the arm. And then last week, George got his shorts ripped and he got bit on the leg. And so the mistake George was making is he's used to being able to just take a regular dog and, like kind of impose himself on him, like sit and stay. But he would do that and he would have his retrieving items on him. And then the dog get frustrated and she'd jump up and start biting his clothes. So by using this, this stake system, I can say stay and I can actually move away. And I've got her stuck, and so I seem powerful. I seem super powerful. I have a leverage advantage over the dog, and she can't get to me to nip me. And so basically, she just has to kind of lay down there and accept what we're doing, okay? So I'll do this tug first, and I'll let George do it. And if George gets himself in trouble, or if the dog goes to run away, he can just come back over here and get a hold of his long line. But I'm going to try to get her to grab hold of this tugging item, and then I'm just going to kind of let her be. She'll probably go to shaking her head and stuff some, and we'll see how it affects her. I'm going to try to get here where the shadow's not on her. So there she is, and I want y'all to, like, again, really give George a hand, because he's primarily the one that's been handling it. I mean, I've been coaching. We've been going out every day uptown, taking her, walking her, and George has been like a trooper. I mean, just a real trooper with her. Okay, so there she is. She's down there like that. Okay, good dog. Look, I got her. Now come up here and listen, cameraman. Look at this, guys. This is literally the third time she's ever seen this. Now, what I could have done is I could have acted like I was some kind of good trainer and I had slowly drawn this out of her, but I didn't slowly drag it out of her. Like, this is just how she is. And you'll remember from episode 1 and episode 2, she was doing this with George's retrieving items. She was doing it with his vest. She did it with his pants and his arm. Like, but look, this is what she does. Right? So this, guys, is what you paid the big money for. This is what everybody wants. Whoever bred this dog, and I don't know who bred this dog, but whoever bred this dog did an excellent job of breeding that dog for somebody like me. Now, you want to live with this dog in the suburbs? Hey, this could be your neighbor's cat right here. Here's your neighbor's cat. And you're like, give me the cat back. Give me the cat back. And the dog's like, man, I love this game. When I get done with this cat, the other neighbor down the way has a cat. And the neighbor past that has a Bichon. And the neighbor past that has a 4-year-old that rides those dang rollerblades, you know? So be careful what you wish for, okay? Now watch, I'm gonna let her have it. Very nice. And let's just see what she does. She's liable to shake it. She's liable to take it off. What I'd really like for her to do is not, like bite on it and chew on it. That's bad. We have to clean that up. I'd really like for her to like hand it to me and say, hey, Stonnie, could we go back to playing that fun game? Now, since she's obviously not going to do that, I need to be able to take it away from her. Now, as I move over here to take it away from her, a lot of different things could happen. Like I said, she could run away or move, just try to move away. Or sometimes, like, they'll put it down and they'll look at you and they'll move you away, right? Because that's their basic options, right? They can take the retrieving item away the tugging item away, or they can make you go away. So now if you're strong and you want to alleviate that, you roll them up with the long line. Come on, Goose. Give me that. Good. And put them in this position. So what we're going to do here, my kennel anyway, everything kind of starts and stops at this service heel position. Okay. Now, again, I've been doing this a while, so I'm kind of strong a little bit, and so I was able just to, like, the dog knows when you're strong. Like when you grab hold of that leash, they know. Like if you've been on the right end of a leash before. And see how she calmed down for me a lot. So my posture is kind of serious right now. I'm gonna drop the tugging item into play again. I'm gonna change my vocalization and posture. I'm gonna do it one more time, kind of tire her out a little bit, and then we'll let George take over. I don't like this part of the handle, so I'm gonna adjust it. So here, see, I'm stable. Remember last week she'd jump up and bite you? Now watch. Oh, very nice. You're a tough dog. Very good. And remember earlier when I brought my hand over Lexi's head? She was like, oh my gosh, Stonnie, I didn't mean to make you mad. I don't want to fight with you. You know, watch this. Whoa, whoa, hey, ho. Third day. Oh my gosh, look. I act like I'm hitting her. And all you're doing here, guys, you're kind of making them understand that this game, you know, you're like teaching a kid a martial art. You know, it's a ritualistic fighting, you know. Good. And then when we have an actual agitator, like work with this dog, then that guy, he plays a mean role, and he never breaks role, and she never like develops a relationship with that person. That's really important. We do what's called scenario training here. Good dog. Ah! Hey, I'm gonna hit you. Hey, I'm gonna hit you. Hey, ho. Hey, she wins. Now I'd like for her to come back towards me, not to bite it. I hate that part right there, the biting. I don't mind the head shaking. Very nice. Let me see if she'll give it to me. Hey, give it to me. Whoa, whoa. And see, she's in conflict. This is what's called, she's in conflict. She wants to give it to me, but she wants to have it. And around here we call that a have your cake and eat it too problem. See, she doesn't want to give it back, but she wants to go back to playing that game. She just can't hardly decide what to do. So watch, I'll grab hold of her long line. Once I get a hold of that long line, remember I told you, you transmit your energy and your intentions down the long line. So watch, hey, no, out. And so kind of what I'm transmitting down that line is you're gonna let go of it one way or another. You might as well let go of it the nice way. All right, we'll let George take over and see if it looks any different. Now, back up there, cameraman. Look, so this dog, I could have tried to make her stay there and I didn't think about it, but like she almost tied me up in her long line. But she bit George in episode 1. She bit him in episode 2. I'm getting super mean looks from Mrs. Stonnie, which is her birthday today, so wish her happy birthday. I got my double finger cross going on here that George doesn't get bit in episode 3. Now, one of the ways that you can use your long line, like if you're George and you want to play kind of tug with your dog, is he can play long. Now you got to watch this, guys. You don't want the long line tied up around, because you'll get tied up around your feet, it'll get tied up around dog's feet too. So like George can just play on the edge here, right? Wait, don't move yet. You go to move and she's gonna get real excited. And then he can do what I was doing at the edge of the long line, so he can control like when the dog has access to the retrieving or the tugging item. And then once she has it, he can walk over here and reel her up so that he has a leverage advantage. All right, just a second, let me get this adjusted. Now, like I was telling y'all before, the long line, guys, it's a lot of trouble, right? But it's worth the trouble because it makes you powerful, and when otherwise you wouldn't be powerful. So I think what we're going to do actually is we're going to have George, I'm not going to set him up for failure. I was kind of thinking he'd made so much progress this week that he could just do it like me. But with the dogs, everything needs to be progressive, and like with novice handlers, everything needs to be progressive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk this dog right over here to the edge of the long line so I can show George exactly right about here is where George can come to, okay? Now, George can kind of, if he wants to, he can kind of run around in a little zigzag pattern here, or this dog is kind of so drivey that he can just kind of probably come right here. And, well, let's do it this way so that you can try to think about where you guys can see it. Okay, so we'll do it from right here. George is going to come and he's going to let the dog grab, and he's going to turn here. He's going to have to step over his long line so the long line doesn't get tangled up in his feet, and then he's going to tug with the dog so we can see. So come over to here, Georgie, and then watch that long line. You can go up there pretty close to her. And if you want to, right about now, like change your vocalization and posture and run at her a little bit, and like kind of then zig and let her grab it, and then spin all the way around so that your mom can see you. All right, get it. Very nice. Now step over your long line that way. There we go. That's what we can see. Good, good, good. Very nice. Stay like that. Good. Now pick her up a little bit. Good. Very nice. Very good. Very good. Perfect, perfect. Now take your hand, act like you're going to whack her kind of. Look, see, that dog doesn't pay any attention to that. She's so confident naturally. Very nice. That's just part of the game. Everybody's watching the long line. Don't get the long line in your feet or her feet. Now you have two options here, Georgie. You can reach down and get the long line and try to control her, or you can walk back over there and reel her up with the long line. Whatever suits. Now George he's going to try to do it like me. Go ahead and reach down there with your dominant hand. There you go. Now, out. Got to be dead. Now look how much more the dog's fighting him. Okay. Now, here's the thing. George, he went with that strategy, guys, and he kind of dug himself a hole there because the dog looked like she wasn't gonna give it up. And he couldn't leave at that point. I mean, once you make a decision, you got to stick with that decision. Okay, now stop sign hand stayer, Georgie. Tell her to stay. Yep, see what George is doing, he's looking at his long line. He's thinking, can I get out of here before she gets me? I think you've got her, okay? Just don't fish and lure your tug. Tell her to stay. No, don't try to, oh, look what you did. Look what you did, okay. Watch, give me the retriever. Give me the tug, Okay. All right, so here's what happened. And you guys back that up and watch this again and you'll see what happened there. So George was here and I start telling him that, he needs to figure out like what he's gonna do next. And so what he did is he started eyeballing like how am I gonna get to the edge of this long line distance where the dog can't, get me, where I have some control over her. And so he reached down here and he got her to sit out. Okay, and then like, the big mistake here is to bring this back into play like that. You see what happened? Hey, easy. So I got to keep a nice calm demeanor here. I got to stop sign hand stayer. And then I've got to walk over there and not fish and lure this. So when you're fishing lure, see what happens? Now, like I'm making a big fishing lure. But guys, when you're fishing, you never make big movements. You make little bitty subtle movements. And so if y'all will go back and make videos of yourself training, and you'll see like your body posture is just not comfortable. Your tugs are like they're fidgeting. It's just a lot. Like I said, it's in between the notes. Dog training is what's in between the techniques. I can show you a technique a million times. Or you had 10 people doing the same technique. It's all a little bit different, like 10 people playing guitar. Now, so George could have stayed here and like walked away real calmly and confidently. Since he's not 100% for sure with doing that, what he probably should have done was re-grabbed the leash, walked her to the edge of the, see, stay there. Now when I say stay, I'm like the most powerful person in the world. It's like magic to a dog, like stay. And she's like, I'll get up if I want. Oh, wow, Stonnie's magic. Now I can be calm and confident. She's being calm, attentive, and polite. And as a result of being calm, attentive, and polite, I can bring this back into play, fish and lure style. Good dog. Oh my gosh. Whoa, whoa. And if I don't have the confidence to do it the way I just showed, I can just work my way out to long line distance here, right? Just like this. Get dead, out. She's giving me a hard time. I can either wait it out or I can grab my long line. Stay. Now, right there, guys, I just did something that I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you not to do it. You notice how I reached down there and I grabbed that long line and my face was close to that dog, right? That's one of those things where a guy that's been doing this for a long time, he breaks the rules, okay? That was a broken rule there. I shouldn't have done it. I'm just kind of good at reading dogs, and so I was pretty sure she wasn't gonna bite me in the face. If you knew everything I knew about raising dogs, you wouldn't be watching this video. So do not do what I just did right there, okay? Just play dead. And if she doesn't let go, let her have it. Go back over there, reel her up using the double stake method. That was a real dumb mistake on my part, and my wife has literally given me the most evil eye that I've ever had, besides when George gets bit. I'm just gonna go this far. You guys don't do this. This is dumb. You fool with these dogs, you're gonna get bit. It's a dumb thing to do. Don't do it. Only professionals should do it. All right, Georgie, since you're a professional, come back over here and do not put your face down there. Now be aware of where your long line is and where the long line is in relation to her feet and your feet. Go ahead. Now, like a lot of how good the dog looks when it bites something, guys, is how well you present it. As you get to doing this better, like as they go to jump up, then you will you will be able to like shove that in her mouth. At least 90% of how good dogs look on the internet is based on how good the guy catching them makes them look. Very nice. Okay, now, so what are you gonna do here? Are you gonna try to make her let go? If so, just walk yourself out to the end of the long line. Very nice. You can still fight with her till you get there. Now, like erect posture and get dead. Now, get over. Let's walk up here a little bit, Cameron, so they can hear that. Let me see, Georgie. It's hard. You're in the shadows here. Okay, but you see what's going on there? Like, I hope you can see it. Like she's like, I don't want to stop playing. I want that. That's mine. And again, guys, that's what makes that $1 million dog, right there. Okay, and this is where like people that buy really nice dogs. Let me see, Georgie. Turn this way a little bit. Turn this way. This is where people that buy $1 million dogs, like, they regret it. Okay, it's kind of like buying a sports car. You buy a sports car or a fast motorcycle, and the motorcycle gets away from you. Well, you can imagine. Oh, nope. Okay. Man, that was so close to right. All right, so what George did, again, back to the point I was making. People buy them a fast motorcycle, they buy them a fast car, and then it gets away from them in the rain or the snow. Well, this dog belongs to a family. It's got some, like a little girl, maybe like 7 years old, and a couple other kids. It's like just a, whole like family. And you could see where if that's going on at their house, it could be very upsetting, okay? It can be dangerous. And Goose she's not trying to be bad. She's just being what she was bred to be, which is a dog that chases and bites things and, has a good temperament and doesn't give up easily. She's all the things a person wants in a dog, but you gotta be careful because sometimes you get what you wish for. Now, where George made his mistake that time, can you see me good there? Okay, watch. So, good. Now see right there kind of how I fed that to that dog so it got it back in its mouth like really good. So George is doing pretty good. He walked himself out to the edge of his leash. He did a good job of telling her to let go. He's like out, and he got dead. And when you get dead, they'll, if you wait long enough, they just get bored with it. And let me see, get her where you can see her. So see, like she's wanting to win. And I want her to want to win, because if I sick her on an evildoer, I don't want her to let go, But right here, I'm going to have to be like, hey, let go of that. And I'm going to get dead. And here in a second, she's going to let go, I hope. I might have to be pretty patient. And I'm going to show y'all where George messed up. Out. She's like, see, and she's like, no, I'm not going to. Now, where George messed up is right here. So I said, look, let go or I'm not going to play again. And she's like, well, no, we're going to play the way I want to play. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I got all day. I'm not the one tied up here. I mean, I can come and go as I want. I can have somebody bring me a glass of water. You can't do anything. And so she finally let go, and she's looking at me like, hey, Stonnie, when are you going to play that with me again? Now, so I can walk off and come back, walk off and come back, because it's obvious right now that I'm not playing. You see? Like, I'm not interested in that game at the moment. If I'm not looking at you, if I'm not acting excited, I'm probably not interested in playing that game. What George did, let me do this again. Good. Now, so George had her. He comes to the end of his line. She's freaking out, and he's like, oh, I'm on camera. She's not letting go very fast, which introduces an element of stress to George, right? And you guys, however good you are at training your dogs, you're 50% that good if somebody's videoing you, maybe 20%. Or if somebody's watching you, you're just nowhere near as good. So you can imagine how good I really am. No, I'm kidding. But watch. So I'm going to be like out. And again, I'm just going to be dead here. I'm not even going to look at her really. I'm watching her out of the corner of my eye so she doesn't bite my leg or something. And I'm just going to wait, because I'm not going to play this game like that. I play when I want to play. And so whatever's going to happen is going to happen. She fights, fights, fights. See, I'm not giving her any feedback. I'm just kind of laying there, you know. Now, she says, well, Stonnie, if you ain't going to play like that, I'm not going to play. Here's what George did wrong. When she let go, he tried to flee. He tried to escape. He did the same thing. And then again, guys, when you're watching those videos where the dogs are chasing and biting people, like when the guy takes off running away, the dog always chases and bites them, right? Remember I was telling you that nature is more important than nurture? Don't let anybody talk to you about how great a trainer they are and how they train that. Nah, they just do that. The only thing you do as a trainer is help them learn when to do it and for how long, you know. But watch, George went to flee, and when he went to flee, that triggered in her that desire to chase somebody. He went, ah, ah, you know, and then he wasn't quick enough to do that at the very end. Okay, now, so I can do it that way if I want, and like, so you see what I did there is I jerked it out of her mouth real quick, and so she goes, oh, if Stonnie said the game's over, even if he flees, the game's over, okay? I don't like that method. Some people do it that way. What I like to do is walk calmly. I like everything to be calm. I don't like to trick the dogs ever. I'm like a non-dog tricker. I never trick them into anything, you know? So I set my goals early. I make them very, you know, what my expectations are. It's very well explained in a clear and concise manner. And then I play always fairly, okay? So it looks like this. Okay, God, good dog, very nice. So if she fights, good, I play, very nice, very nice, very nice. Oh, it's a big dog, right? I get calm, I quiet, I'm not playing anymore, out. She's mad, you hear her vocalize because she can't believe the game's over, right? And I wait, and I say, well, I'm not gonna play like that. Watch, she's gonna quit here in a second. Like a little kid that doesn't want to leave the park, you know. They just throw a little fit. And I tell them, listen, we're leaving. Now, you also right here, you want to resist the urge to like tell her the same command over and over. She's got big ears. She heard you the first time. See, so that's what happens. Now, I might calmly walk away, or if I get excited, I'll stay here and play the game. I'm never going to trick her. So if I get excited, I'm not fleeing and not playing. Good, very nice. Very nice. Good dog, very nice. All right, and that, my friends, is the end of episode, what is it? 3, and I'll see y'all in a week or two. Go sweep them up, Georgie.